Hello and welcome to Eurogamer on YouTube. I'm Bertie, a writer from the site, and this is Wasteland 2. I'm joined by Wesley Yin-Poole today.
Hello.
Wesley has played Wasteland 2 in beta, as have I. He's played it for a very long time.
Yeah, I played the beta about 50 hours.
Blimey.
Which helped me get through a boring Christmas. So.
Yeah, but the game isn't boring. It's not because you had nothing else. Nothing else to do. This is the final build of Wasteland 2, and Wesley, you can probably already see that something's different.
This is all very different, actually. They've reworked the user interface, which I think everyone admitted wasn't great in the beta. So they've done some work there to make it a bit easier. The process here seems the same.
The character portraits are different.
Yeah, the character portraits are different. I actually don't recognise those. But it looks like the process of creating characters and selecting your party is similar to what's gone before, just slicker, I guess.
It is similar. You're about to see one of the biggest new changes coming up. There's an intro cinematic.
Oh my god, production values.
Production values. I skipped past the character creation screen a bit there. I cut the section because it was a bit boring. It was me thinking and you couldn't really see it. So
it's not going to be something that you can watch and get a lot of pleasure out of watching, I guess.
Not really. This is the new intro scene, and like everything else in Wasteland 2, I find it quite atmospheric. I like the atmosphere they create for this game.
Yeah. You can clearly see they're riffing off of the post-apocalyptic Cold War sort of stuff that these games tend to do. I like the old footage as well. It's kind of really sets the scene.
It's great. It has that. It definitely has that old post-apocalyptic look feel. And there's a live-action bit you'll see in a minute, which I think I remember seeing Chris Avellone posting pictures of him around when he was there. This is the live-action.
Oh, that's definitely Croydon.
Kicked out the convicts. Got busy starting from scratch.
So this, in the background, is outlining what's happened. These are the raiders, and they are ravaging this post-apocalyptic world. Almost unchecked, of course, apart from the rangers, who you play as.
Criminals.
Wow, lovely. Very, very nice.
They've been living with the fallout ever since.
It's all quite
cool, actually.
Quite gritty.
Survived
it works really well.
Called for help in the night. And those engineers,
I don't want to talk too much and spoil this for people.
Could not stand by and see them die. So they came out of their fort, and they helped the survivors defend their homes. And for that, they earned a new name.
This is your introduction to
a proud name.
The Rangers.
The Desert Rangers.
You play as a ranger instantly for the people who haven't played this yet. This is General Vargas talking, who's got an awesome voice. These are the rangers. When you start the game, you start just after a ranger called Ace has been killed, and it's him you go looking for in your first mission. And this is background for that.
But I want you to know something else. That no ranger who dies in the line of duty will ever be forgotten.
So the full game comes out this Friday, 19th. Some people have earlier access, such as us. We are working on a review, which will be up around weekend time, not long after the game. And you can read that on Eurogamer.net, just in case you don't actually go there and you wonder where all this writing happens.
Right, so it goes seamlessly into the actual start of the game then. That's pretty cool.
So this is very much like the beta. You'll see things as we go which have changed though.
Okay. From what I remember, it's basically you are being sent on a mission, but it's your first mission. So you're actually not a part of the Rangers yet, are you? It's to decide whether you got it, basically.
It's your first mission out in the wilds. When you're talking to people, your dialogue choices play out along or you can see them lined up along the bottom. If you have conversational skills such as hard-ass, kick-ass, smart-ass, you can affect conversations in different ways, and you'll see they look slightly different, those options. They have a kind of diamond kind of shape behind them.
I like how you use the UK vernacular arse,
Hard ass,
opposed to the US assed.
There are some great voices in this. The deliveries there are tooltips as well. I don't think they were.
No, that's new.
I'm skipping through them because I've seen a few.
Pick up the shovel. I remember spending a lot of time digging in this game at Christmas time, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty apt.
So I don't have the right dialogue choice. You'll see here. There's let, but I don't have hard ass. So I can't get the gun that this guy has.
Ah.
Not yet, anyway.
Okay. Just so people know, it's probably worth describing what kind of game this is.
It's turn-based strategy. When combat plays out, you don't see the grid, but your characters move as if in a grid, and you take turns based on your action points, and you all queue up and take turns to kill each other. Lots of talking, lots of
dialogue. Brian Fargo, the guy who runs the developer of this in Exile, told me that they've got more lines of dialogue or more words in the game than all of the Lord of the Rings books put together.
Holy Mordor!
Yeah, so there's a lot of dialogue in this.
She's a new NPC, I'm fairly sure. I don't think she was there.
I can't remember.
So lots of talking, lots of exposition, lots of scene setting. It's an RPG, so you power up your characters over time, selecting skills, equipping them, as you can see there.
Oh, dig up the dirt.
Yeah, it takes me a while here
use
to
shovel on dirt.
So as you can see,
This has all been reworked. Like the bottom left corner of the screen has got slots, I guess, for your hotkeys, which looks very different. Looks different to the way it used to be. Better, I should point out as well, because it was the whole thing was pretty cumbersome. One thing I like about this game is it's got a kind of VIDI printer for what goes on.
I really like that.
Yeah, and it's a nice effect. It's a nice feel, almost like someone's typing your travels, which is pretty cool.
And it does observe as you observe as well. It does update pretty well. That weird-looking thing is basically go to the world map and travel around the world.
Enter the Wasteland.
So the beta version, which is the same content here, obviously it's been reworked somewhat, was designed for them to take feedback on and improve. This is slightly different.
Oh yeah, this is a little different. Looks a bit nicer actually. I think they're giving it a bit of a spruce up graphically.
This is the world map section where you go to different places. Random encounters can happen, a bit like in an old JRPG, I suppose. You can choose to fight, or sometimes you can escape if you've got the right skills.
This, like people who played the old school Fallout games, so Fallout 1 and 2, will be very familiar with this system, which also had like a world map that you travelled around in. You need to manage your water intake and radiation levels and all the rest of it.
When you get to certain parts on the map, radiation spots flash up, and if you walk over them, you will take damage. Your entire party takes damage. You
get sick, or you did. The thing that struck me about this game was that, you know how like after Fallout 2 there was an effort to make Fallout 3 that was like Fallout 1 and 2 called Van Buren. It was like an old school turn-based role-playing game, but in the end, what Fallout 3 was like a first-person, Bethesda style sprawling role-playing game. And I remember at the time, a lot of fans of the original Fallout were very sceptical about what Bethesda was doing with Fallout for Fallout 3. Obviously, it came out and it was brilliant, and lots of people liked it. But really, what you can say about Wasteland 2, which is the sequel to the precursor of the Fallout series. Remember, it was the game that came out before Fallout 1 and 2. Is that this is, you'd say, the spiritual successor to the Fallout, old school Fallout series.
Yeah.
It's kind of filling that post-apocalyptic sci-fi old school RPG fantasy that has been sort of neglected since Fallout 3 came out. Obviously, Bethesda isn't going to make a game like this in the Fallout series. You know, it does games like Skyrim now and all that kind of thing. So there's a gap there, I think, for this kind of thing, and it's coming out at a good time, I think, because old school role-playing games seem to be back in vogue. So
this turn-based combat for me is.
Oh, we're getting into a little bit of it now, here, aren't we? I remember.
Yeah. So there's friendly fire, so you can shoot the people, and you get action points, which determine how much you can do.
Oh, I remember this frog thing.
A giant enemy toad.
You just went straight in there. You didn't even bother to place your. Oh, it's only one dude.
Yeah, they are a little bit bunched.
Yeah, you see.
One grenade would take me down.
You just went in there straight away without thinking.
So as you can see, it's paused. You get time to make your go. The blue bit is the area you can move in and then still take a shot. The yellow bit, I think, is just the area you can move in.
Yep.
Full stop. You get hit percentage chance based on your skills, based on how far away you are, if your enemy's in cover. I should be probably hitting someone there by shooting through them. Machine gun works really well, so just saying.
Ah. They've clearly done a lot for the combat. Like in the beta, it didn't look half as good as this. It looks like they've added a lot to it, and graphically as well. Seems to be a lot more going on then, a lot more options. Like I heard that you can now. There's more tactics to it, right? So you don't just sort of stand and move and shoot and stuff.
There do seem to be. I've only played this for a couple of hours and it didn't seem terribly different. It looks nicer, it seems slicker.
It does look slicker.
But I didn't notice any major differences. You can change the rate of fire of your guns. You can. There are some options, like you can have your whole team crouch. You can kind of wait in ambush. I didn't know if that option was in there last time.
Yeah, you can do that. You could do that. So I remember this bit being your first sort of step onto working out what happened to Ace, right?
Yeah, so you work out that there's a synthetic robot, or a robot even, who has, I think, killed Ace.
Yes.
And robots haven't been seen around the world for a long time, so it's a bit mysterious why they've come back. And you get a few points marked on your map. The other thing I like about this is your radio, how you call in missions. It's actually how you level up as well. You can see on my main character there's a kind of badge over the portrait which signifies that I've leveled up. And when I phone in to General Vargas, that will let me level up and get extra points for my characters so they can become a bit stronger. Here, I'm about to walk into a trap. Boom.
Well done.
I'll come back to that. What I wanted to show now was just exploring the area, because I've been to this area a few times, so I knew where to run. But I wanted to show there's quite a lot of exploring. There are things to pick up, points of interest.
Heal.
Bing.
That's a new icon as well.
Some new icons.
Lots of new icons and tooltips. One thing I was hoping that they'd put in was a map, because I found it quite easy to get lost, especially in some of the larger hubs. And I thought that they were putting in a map, but I can't see one.
I didn't see one either.
Huh.
I'm going in here to repair a toaster.
Oh, I love this stuff. This is why, because this is another thing. This is a perfect example, right? So one thing people fans of the old school Fallout games, one of the things that they loved about it was that's new. That thing in the corner there. I don't know what that is. One of the things they liked was it had a bit of humour in it. It was kind of a bit bonkers, and crazy stuff would happen. There'd be funny lines of dialogue, and there was a feeling that Fallout 3 was a bit serious. Like it didn't really have that sort of funny element to it. And so another reason why this game appeals is because it's going back to a bit of that humour, which the original Fallout games had, and like one of that is the classic toaster repair skill. It's like why would you have a toaster repair skill? But you come across toasters in the game world. It's just a nice little funny thing. What was that thing, by the way, that was in the
kind of shrine and statue.
Oh, okay. Dig.
picking up lots of loot. You can salvage all your guns. There's all the normal kind of RPG trappings underneath.
It looks better. Like, it looks like they've done a graphical pass on it. Like, and the graphics are more detailed. It almost feels thicker, like in terms of detail.
It is, and there's a lovely atmosphere about the world, and there's more incidental detail now, like people lying around, people sitting around in settlements.
Right, so there's more, because it did feel a bit barren. I mean, I know it's post-apocalyptic Wasteland, but still. So I remember this bit. Like, you've not had to kill everyone.
No, so when I came into this area, one of my characters, you can recruit a lady in the town before you get here, who's quite a lot higher level than you, and she has the ability, but I think my main character does too. He's got the smart ass ability.
Right.
And when the first dialogue flashes up when you meet the leader of the person who's standing at the gate, you have an option to confuse him, basically.
Yeah, I remember.
And trick him into... He gets confused and is like, well, we'll come in, I'm confused. So you can bypass that whole combat scenario, but you can just run in and start a fight. And
yeah, one thing I really like about this game is how you can really, mess about with the world and test how the limits of how it can react to what you're doing. Like, you could just like fight your way in. You could just talk to them. There's loads of different ways, and this is just like one of the early encounters where there's a few multiple routes. But brilliantly, I remember doing... What have you done there?
Well, this is a new gate that's alarmed, and the guy runs over, and I was thinking, whoops, I've just triggered the whole combat scenario now.
Yeah.
But he says, oh, it's just you lot, get moving.
Oh, right, okay, because what I did was I talked my way in, like you did, to get the bonus for doing so. And then, after I did it, I just killed them all anyway, to get extra experience points.
I think maybe,
and also because they're really mean.
I think maybe you're supposed to. So you'll see in a minute, just to the area to the right here, there's a bunch of dead corpses. Dead corpses? Dead people. And I think you're supposed to feel like these raiders are really mean.
I did. And that's what I like. The option to, like, you don't just go, I'm going to talk my way in or I'm going to fight my way in. You can mess about with this game system so that you can do both. You might not do any. I think it's pretty cool.
What's nice about it is, I mean, this is just a very early on setting, but the language is mature. The themes are mature in the game.
It's quite gory at times.
It's quite gory. It's quite brutal.
Did you just set off a trap there or something?
Not a trap. So if I look down there, there's a bunch of... You can see there's bottles on the kind of barrels and drums there. There's just a bit more going on in the world.
Kill them all. Do you kill them all?
I don't. I run past them this time. There was a video I recorded from the beta, and I'll see if I can supply a link to it here, because it's interesting seeing, because it's the same section, interesting seeing them side by side, and how much extra work In Exile have done. Of course,
Sturdy Mag.
They didn't have the full game in the beta. There wasn't that much content, so there's a lot of content to get through.
I mean, I'm definitely going to play this. I mean, a lot of it is going to be like, because I put so much time into the beta, and I remember feeling like, should I be doing this? Because it's a story game, right? You want to experience it at its best when you're, for the first time. But I just couldn't wait because I was so excited about the game. So I'll probably do it all over again.
I like this remote way of phoning your quests in and effectively handing your quests in. It works and it fits with the lore and the feel of the world.
So I remember this bit being you're picking up the trail, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to do a bit of levelling up. I think if I call it in there.
Copy Echo 1. This is Ranger Command. Go ahead. Over.
And you'll see the levelling up. But we're coming roughly towards the end of the content that I filmed. There's so much more. I played a little bit further. Went down to Yin-Poole, some of the places you saw marked on the map there. There's lots to do.
It's a big game. I mean, I spent a lot of time in the beta, you know, really thoroughly going everywhere, trying to do as much as possible. And from what I understand, from what Brian Fargo has told me, it's basically all of that plus the same again. And there's lots of other places you can go. You're not just limited to that sort of area that you saw on the world map. So it feels quite extensive. From the sound of things, the story is, the impression I got of the story is it's very sort of involving and, you know, quite in depth with, you know, good dialogue. I think a lot of the time that they've had is very much about, you know, improving the usability of the game, which it really needed. So that's good. Like, this is better, more responsive, slicker, and it's been given a graphical pass, which definitely needed too. So I don't think they've used the time to sort of rewrite any huge chunks of it, but just improve what they had. So it's looking good to me.
It feels good as well. It feels responsive, and tooltips and things you can see popping up there to explain things a bit better, because it was kind of unforgiving before. It was just lots of things to try and get your head around. It'll be interesting to see what happens as people probe deeper into the game, because I'm sure there's some controversial content stuff to do.
There is, somewhere. Yeah. Look how old school this all is. I mean, it's brilliant, isn't it? You can get really in depth with all of the stats and the items and, you know, your skills and attributes and everything. You know, it's really scratching that old school RPG itch.
Well, that's about all we've got time for, but thank you, Wesley, for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and do subscribe to Eurogamer.net for more videos, maybe more Tales from the Wasteland, maybe not. But thanks for watching, and we'll be back with other videos soon.